How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today's video we are going to be working on the XJ. We got the CJ pulled out. Just got done washing and detailing the truck and the Corvette. My dad's coming up later to pick up his Corvette. What today's video is about is the recent Project XJ we've been working on. As you can probably tell by the title, I did break it. Went to Roush Creek and it was doing great all day. The Jeep was doing better than I thought it would, actually. And it was towards the end of the day. We were heading out, going along this wide trail, the power lines. If you've ever been to Roush Creek, you know what I'm talking about. And it's just like a playground, if you will, just some small water holes and everything. But off to the right, going into the woods, there was a bigger water hole, and I decided to hit that as hard as I could.
Get a video!
So as you can see, the water came up pretty high and it ended up hydrolocking the Jeep. If you don't know what hydrolocking means, it means we got water into the intake system and into the combustion chamber, seizing the engine because water doesn't compress. So, and usually what happens with that is you'll bend parts just because everything just stops abruptly. So you'll end up seizing, usually, hopefully not in our case, that's what we're going to find out today, if anything's bent or broken, which I think it is because I pulled the spark plugs out as soon as I got home. What that does, it makes no compression, so even if there is water, you should still be able to turn it over. And I go to hit the ignition and it makes that nice click sound. If you ever have a seized motor, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just like a solid thunk when you hit the starter. So what we're gonna do today, I think the best option is to tear apart the head, see if any of the connecting the push rods are bent. But we'll get a head gasket on there while we're at it, clean up some rust if it did rust at all, and all that good stuff. So yeah, let's get started working on this thing. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna get all this out of the way. Just gonna move the air box, move the throttle body over, get the wiring off, get the fuel rail off. Well, not off, just unplugged and everything. Then the intake manifold has to come off, exhaust manifold. Take off the valve cover because the head bolts on the passenger side are under the valve cover. The other ones are on the outside, these studs here. And then we'll get the head off. We'll inspect both the exhaust and intake valves and the push rods as well, make sure they're not bent. And then we'll see if there's any water. I'm sure there is. On top of the cylinders and everything, get that cleaned up. See if the walls are scored up on the cylinder walls. And then after that checks out and we repair anything, we'll move to the bottom end, take off the oil pan, and see what might be wrong down there. Alright guys, so we got everything taken off that we need to get to the head so we can start taking off the head bolts. I also have to take off 2 bolts attached to the AC bracket here, that one there and that one. And that'll free up the head. Get off all the bolts. If you're going to be doing any kind of head removal on your Jeep, make sure, I wouldn't say it's a specialty tool, but I definitely didn't have it before I started doing heads on Jeeps. It's a 1/2-inch deep socket, 12 point, and that's what you need to fit these the head bolts. So make sure you have that before you get started. Now these things have been soaking in PB for a little while, so let's see how they go. Sometimes they can be a pain. They crack pretty easy. Oh yeah. we're in good shape. All the head bolts are out, guys. I got those 2 off of the AC bracket. Just for a tip for you guys, if you're doing this yourself, the very back driver's side corner head bolt, it won't come out because there's a little lip on the firewall. So just loosen it all the way and leave it there. Just take it out with when you pull the head. And also, these cylinder heads have a good bit of weight to them, so make sure you have like a nice clear spot you can take it, so when you pull it out, so you don't like drop it or some stupid shit like that. But yeah, the push rods for the most part look pretty straight. I mean, not for the most part, they all are straight as they should be. The valves inside, I can see they're rusted, but for the most part they look straight as well. I do have 2 other cylinder heads sitting around, so, and I can order new valves, of course, get this cleaned up, so that's not an issue. This engine bay is looking a lot worse than I thought it'd be. Come check it out. Here we go. As you can see, the cylinder walls are rusted pretty good. The ones with paper towels in there, those were actually pools of water. Try to soak some of that up now. From here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna head underneath and drop the oil pan. I'm gonna take off the starter first. It makes it a little bit easier getting to those pan bolts. Drop the oil pan, and then we're gonna look up in at the connecting rods. I'm sure at least one of them is bent, maybe 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. But from there, we'll replace pistons or just remove all of them, hone out the cylinders, do all that good stuff. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Also, what I want to do, that exhaust pipe, that is where the header connects to the exhaust. That thing, I don't know if you can see it on camera very well, but it is pinched off pretty good, and I doubt there's any flow getting through there, or hardly any at least. But I have a brand new one right over here, so we're going to replace that while we're under there. But enough wasting time, let's go underneath and drop the pan. Hey, look at that. I went ahead and skipped right ahead, pulled off the pan, because no one wants to see me take off the same bolt 15 times. Pan is off. I was a little worried when I was draining the oil because it was very watery in consistency. Is that a word? Yes. But as you can see, like that, like gooey, like oil water mix. It's also gunked up on like the sending unit pickup and other parts, so we'll definitely have to get that cleaned up. But definitely found our problem. Let me see if I can show you guys. I'll take some clear pictures with my phone so you can see it anyway. But cylinder number 6, you can't see it. I'll put pictures on the screen right now as I'm talking. But as you can see, the piston, the connecting rod snapped clean off, and what actually seized the motor and jammed it is at the very bottom there. You see like a dent. See that bottom part that runs along front to back of the engine? That's called the girdle, and it looks like the lower portion of the connecting rod wedged itself in there, and it couldn't turn the crank, so that's why we're seized up right now. Now I was trying to get a close look at those other pistons, and they all look relatively straight, but I couldn't really get my head under there good enough like to line up my eye. So I am going to pull out all the pistons just to make sure they are all good, and I'm going to hone out the cylinders. But that's for another video. This video will probably pretty much be long enough as it is. So that will pretty much wrap it up for this upload. Easy. Make sure you stay tuned. Next video, we're pulling out the pistons. We're going to hone out the cylinders, show you guys how to do that. Get rid of all that watery, oily mix that's on the lower end there. Oh, I forgot to mention, I wanted to put this in this video. I checked the timing chain. It has a little bit of play in it, but I don't think it's because of the water getting in. I think it might have had that much. It's an older motor, so I think it's fine. It's not too loose. It's enough. I mean, it's not a good amount of play, but like it's an acceptable amount of play. So yeah, that's not an issue. Wanted to include that in this video. The timing is okay. So all we got to do is, all we would really have to do is replace piston number 6. But I'm going to do them all, hone out the cylinders, make sure they're clean, make sure it's clean underneath, put this thing back together and fire it up, and we can go have some more fun adventures. But all that being said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like the content, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.